Over the past 7 days, Amazon stock is up nearly 15%. Today, we're going to be looking at their Q3 earnings call results and some various factors that show why I believe Amazon is a great stock to own today. So, Amazon brought in $554 billion in revenue over the past 12 months. Compare that to Apple, the world's largest company, set to report later today, which brought in $384 billion over the past 12 months as of their quarter ending June 30. Now, while Amazon continues to show double-digit growth in important segments like advertising, AWS, and subscription services, all these services segments that have, higher margins that come with them, higher profits, Apple has seen its revenue decline for 3 straight quarters now, and today we're going to find out if it will be the fourth. Now, I like to compare these two companies in no way to discredit Apple. I think it's a great company, but it has a market cap that is double that of Amazon. So due to this and the following factors I'll discuss from their Q3 earnings, I believe Amazon is a better buy, and it's quickly becoming my second favorite company behind Tesla, of course. But, with the outlook for the next 12 months and Tesla's gloomy earnings call that they just had, in the short term, I would pick Amazon over Tesla if I were to increase my position in either. And you can check out my last video on Tesla. So in Amazon's Q3, Andy Jassy stated, "We had a strong third quarter as our cost to serve and speed of delivery in our stores business took another step forward. The benefits of moving from a single national fulfillment network in the US to 8 distinct regions are exceeding our optimistic expectations, and perhaps most importantly, putting us on pace to deliver the fastest delivery speeds for Prime customers in our 29-year history." Now, as the company has stated in the past, the faster they're able to deliver goods, the more often consumers shop. Revenue is growing and profits are starting to follow thanks to optimizations in the growth of these higher margin segments like advertising. And I think when you put it all together, you have a flywheel effect, which essentially you have the accumulation of all these small wins that compound to create a virtuous cycle where we're going to see sustained periods of high growth. Take Amazon's fulfillment network. Which was built out over 2 decades. It's now hyper-optimized for speed, enabling Amazon to move into new verticals like healthcare with the delivery of prescription medications. You add in innovative initiatives like the robotics and the switch to electric delivery vans with Amazon's investment in Rivian, and the entire process has become a self-reinforcing, virtuous cycle that the company can now continue to build on with ease. Let's look at healthcare. An investment in Amazon today, I think, is getting you a free call option on what, as of 2021, was a $808 billion industry in the US. The global healthcare industry is worth $12 trillion, and it's actually the industry projected to grow faster than any other sector in the US economy. Now, there's a huge opportunity here, and as you can see from this chart, there's deep dissatisfaction. I think it's an industry ripe for innovation. And, it's no surprise, prescription medication costs had the worst score, with 74% of respondents dissatisfied. And it's no surprise that that's what Amazon decided to start with. It's almost as if they know where all the best opportunities are. And it just makes the most sense to start there. Obviously, again, going back to their fulfillment network, they're able to ship these things to people quickly, and they're also moving into more types of direct care, which we'll get into here. Because on the call, they announced some updates into their other healthcare forays. They announced new offerings to help customers get and stay healthy, including an expanded Amazon Clinic virtual healthcare marketplace, now available across the US to provide care for more than 35 conditions, and 60-minute delivery of medications through Amazon Pharmacy using Prime Air drones in College Station, Texas. So again, I think you're going to see this just continue to expand out. They'll roll it out to more and more places. Additionally, Amazon Pharmacy partnered with Blue Shield of California on a first-of-its-kind model to provide more affordable pharmacy care to its members, where Amazon Pharmacy will offer fast, free home delivery of prescription medications to more than 4.8 million Blue Shield of California members starting in 2025. Now, the company's posted very impressive sales growth. I've discussed this in past videos. The services segment here, as you can see the breakdown between product and services, the services segment is what I'm more focused on, as it comprises higher margin segments of the business like your third-party seller services, your advertising, AWS, and other subscriptions. So to see that it's growing at 18% year over year and basically running away from the product sales, I think that's a great sign. And then if we look at a breakdown of the various segments, once again, you see every services segment for Q3 2023 showed double-digit growth, led by advertising with a whopping 25% growth year over year. And as you can see, the advertising segment has grown 21% plus for the last 6 quarters. Now, as I've stated in the past, Google and Meta have long held a duopoly on digital advertising. It seems Amazon's advertisements convert at a much higher rate thanks to all the data they have on people's shopping habits. So this segment really seems to be in its infancy. Here's some interesting quotes from the call on the advertising industry trends. I think that this segment will continue to be a vital engine of growth and profit for Amazon. So I broke them down a little bit, but Jassy was saying if you look around the industry, most advertising heavy companies have struggled growth-wise as the economy has been difficult. I think in these types of economies, we fared pretty well. I'd say so, with over 21% growth on the ad segment here for 6 quarters. Even in a harder economy, there's going to be a lot of e-commerce purchasing. Take Thursday Night Football. We're doing much better on the advertising side than we did in our first year. And that's a property that's really valuable. It's the one game that week, and advertisers want to be in front of customers because there's 13 million customers a week watching. So again, this just shows you Amazon really on the ball. They're moving into the right verticals. They're smart. They're strategic. The Thursday night games were cheaper to buy, I'm sure, than the Sunday games. And yet it's yielding maybe an even better return because it's the only game. You've got direct access to 13 million viewers a week that are watching, not to mention the additional revenue I'm sure it's bringing in since you have to have an Amazon Prime subscription. They've really got it all figured out. Let's move on here. And then I think the other piece is that most of our resource in the advertising side is spent on machine learning expert practitioners who are honing algorithms to make sure that the sponsored results people get when they search on something are relevant. Again, we've seen with Meta reporting what a difference these machine learning, these different algorithms are making, that it's, leading to much higher conversion rates and more effective. And in Amazon's case, it makes sense that, it really would move the needle because they have all the data. They're getting the right sponsored products in front of the right people. And because of that, those ads perform better for advertisers. So people are, companies are going to wake up to this fact. They're, especially in the hard times, they're going to want to be advertising where they're getting the highest return on their investment. So those ads perform better for advertisers. So when they have to think about budget decisions, they're going to choose the ones that have large volume and perform better. I think both of those are real advantages in our advertising area right now. In terms of additional things that we're excited about, I think that we have barely scraped the surface with respect to figuring out how to intelligently integrate advertising into video, into audio, and into grocery. So I think we're early days in that, said Andy Jassy, the CEO. Now, that part is fascinating too because, you could kind of tie the grocery thing into healthcare too. You could say how they were motivating people, to get healthy. They really have the full picture here of resources that they can make a very, very compelling case and give people the resources they need. You shop at Whole Foods right there, you're going to be helping your health. Then you're going to use Amazon's pharmacy. I can really see all of these things working off each other. They've got like the entire ecosystem they're building out here if we moved into something like healthcare. Now let's look at AWS. Speaking of something in its infancy, Jassy said he thinks 90% of the world's IT is still physically on-premise. So despite AWS nearly $100 billion annual revenue run rate, they've barely penetrated this market. The quote, and then we have a $92 billion revenue run rate business where 90% of the global IT spend still resides on premises. So it hasn't even moved to the cloud and the services AWS offers. So much room for growth with this company. If we look at the different segments, I think it's very good to see that their international segment, as you can see, is about to flip positive. It only lost $95 million this year as opposed to over almost $2.5 billion in the prior year operating loss. And all 3 segments grew double digits. You had 11% growth in North America, 16% internationally, and 12% for AWS. And then it's also good to see they mentioned specifically in our established countries like the UK, Germany, Japan, France, those countries are already profitable and they have been profitable. So this is just the other international markets, they're going to follow suit. And North America making up 61% of revenue, international 23%, and AWS 16%. There's lots of room for growth, definitely internationally and AWS, and in North America too. But it just seems like a very untapped market here. So, to conclude, just let this sink in. Facebook's parent company Meta, they have 4 billion monthly active users. Amazon Prime only has 200 million members. One, you can argue, waste your life, the other makes it easier. The runway for growth here just seems absolutely massive. The company already brings in the most revenue of any company on the planet. They can basically flip a switch and start massively increasing profits. So you throw in these high margin service segments that are growing fast, you've got double digit growth in an economy that is wrecking most other companies. So it's becoming clear to me, the companies I want to invest in are the ones that do especially well in the tough times, such that we currently find ourselves in. Anyone can grow when interest rates are effectively zero, but to grow vital segments double digits consistently through this downturn, that's telling me everything I need to know. So I think they're going to continue to follow this playbook, which is faster deliveries, which leads to more purchases, which leads to more revenue. Then you throw in these high margin service segments, you optimize profits, enter new verticals, rinse and repeat. And then this is the result here. You get operating income skyrocketing 343% year over year. Just incredible. Again, I think kind of gives you a sneak peek at, they can kind of just flip these switches, flip a lever, and just massively unlock, profits and free cash flow. So there's so much room for growth when we look internationally and at AWS, as I mentioned. I think the outlook for this company is looking better each quarter, and judging by the stock's 15% run over the last week, over the last 7 days, it appears Wall Street is starting to agree. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Vinny from the Investment Club. I'll see you guys next time.